Let's, think you ready, Mike? To call the meeting to order.
Sure.
We call meeting to order 7:07. Kathy tells me she's at Mass General Hospital, didn't tell me which one by text,
Oh,
and it's been a long-term thing.
wow.
Cellulitis, she says.
Oh. Yeah, it's like a bad infection. Yeah, offhand, I don't think I got, oh, maybe I did. Okay, our meeting, attached agenda. I don't know if this includes minutes, but, I don't think I ever downloaded this. I'm sorry.
I might be in contact with you in the meantime, but we're gonna consider the minutes at the next meeting. Okay, I'll try to come up with both of them and, actually send it to you again.
Okay.
Sometimes Word, Excel, it sends my when I save stuff, it'll send it off to OneDrive or the Google. It goes off to all these places, and I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
I gotta go find them.
Yeah.
All right, green community status discussion. I think we hit this last time, but I said it differently this time. Rise failed to complete work in time, disqualifying us from the fall 24 round. Rise isn't going to get to quote us for a while, and that's been a problem for me. I need a quote on hand, and they're asking us, what do you want us to quote? Well, I want the things that are left to do. You've got a list. Some of it is heat pumps and stuff, but some of it is not. Let's quote it and get it done.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed with Rise, and I think they have a lot of technical expertise, but their administrative side is lacking. And I just try to figure out how to proceed. Or whether I want to involve Rob. We have as far as I know, we still have a temporary, or we have a permanent town manager, town administrator now.
You're asking because I don't actually
know. I thought that I'm confused because it's been referred to as a temporary and was coming on board, such a time. Is he coming on board to be a temporary issue? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know who to involve in that. Get a new quote, go for the spring round and figure out whether we wish to involve another supplier. For this meeting, I just worked on this stuff, but I guess the rest of it can follow. I'll figure out what to do and let you know what I did. Yes.
Whose decision is that?
Not a lot here.
I don't even recall, like, was it our committee's decision as to who would do this service for us, or was it just the town?
No, it was we may have been offered alternatives. I don't know. Would have been.
Probably I was on the committee. I surely was.
You'd have to go back 10 years worth of minutes to figure that out, if they have them. It's a. I think maybe that there's a lot more dollar volume of work left in the HVAC set, stuff, moving electrification, than there is in the efficiency side. There's stuff to do on the efficiency side we've got to cover. But long term, meaning a year from now, that's not that long, because we are urgently pursuing this. We'll want to make some moves, and having that stuff in advance would be very helpful. All right, progress. I'm going to do mine first. On the trying to figure out how to show the dollar value of our savings. Now, there are a few complications involved. And the chief one of them is that there are no costs associated with our use of diesel and gasoline or oil. I'm not too worried about the gasoline and diesel. We've never made any recommendations in that area. It does appear to me on a chart, on a graph, that there's been some management involved because we have reduced the amount of oil, gas that we use every year, unless there's a big snowstorm or something. It's not controllable to a degree. But we haven't made any overall moves to switch to non-carbon vehicles. So I don't really think we need to look at that that closely because there's going to be no savings there that can be attributable to our work. However, when it comes to buildings, there's stuff we have done, and it does show some results. Another complication, other than the lack of oil values, which is got to be built into the thing, we have oil used, but oil is not actually used when you get it. It's delivered. It's put in a tank. It's not used, so it could go off into another period.
Awesome.
So there's a distortion that has occurred relative to the usage. And I don't know, there may even be an error in the data, but I'll show you that.
Yeah.
The third complication is that you've got the water department included. Now, the water department, as far as I know, is really a water company, not water department. Does the town make, do the citizens of Townsend vote to spend money on the water department? Is it a budget item, that affects our taxes? Because they are the largest saver that we've seen, one of the largest savers.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you include them in, they save quite a bit of money, and it was covered by our program, but I don't know if it affects the tax, it's a tax item.
Yeah,
I included it.
I'm guessing that they're funded by fees, but
Yeah, we pay for it. So I don't know if there's an extra cost we pay for capital improvements or whatever. But that's a question I have about the data. I did use it because it does show savings. And they did use grant money to do all the stuff they did. Mm-hmm. And there's more that they could do with solar. But
I suppose it could still be included. And so, you could argue, well, it may not be a real saving to the taxpayer, but still it's a saving.
I made an effort, and it's going to be futile because I can't use these numbers. I looked up the historical value of oil, and there's a chart maintained by the federal government, state by state, week by week, the average. What they consider to be the cost of oil at retail. It's published.
Yeah, so that could give you an estimate, I guess.
That might work for the fire department and the reading room, West Townsend reading room, because they're delivered into a tank, right? That's a retail. Most of the oil is dumped into the ground into an enormous tank, 5,000, 7,000 gallons at a time. Uh-huh. And that's not going to be the same price. That is a very influential fact of cost. And I don't have access to what we actually pay. When I asked for it, what I got from the town, a good idea, it was a nice effort, was the ComBuys. Commonwealth of Massachusetts has a buying system where the state buys tons of oil based on what people say they're going to use, and you can draw off, towns can draw off that supply, which is enormous, at a discounted rate, depending on how much you get, and they've set it up so that there's certain vendors associated with certain areas. So you know which vendor it would have had to be if we were using that. And apparently Townsend was using the combis. So somewhere there may be a record, but I don't know if I go back 10 years of what we actually pay, which would be interesting. I don't think it's going to show savings still, because when we replaced oil for heat with gas for heat. But the value of oil didn't go up as fast as the value for gas. So we spent more money, but we no doubt spent less money than we would have if we had insulated. It's hard to show in insulation because on the heat side, on the electric side, it's real easy to show, and it's nice. But
You're saying we switched to gas and gas prices went up?
gas prices have gone up over the years.
But more than oil, because I thought oil went up more, but that's just based on my impression. I don't know the data.
Okay, so, that's it with the exceptions that I can think of. But, so,
For example, on oil, you can say in terms of gallons of oil, you can see.
well, that's the way, I think I know where you're headed. Kilowatt hours. We've got the kilowatt hours, and they do record the dollars each month. And so you've got the total dollars, and you've got total kilowatts used, and so you can develop a kilowatts per hour that we pay. Right? Now you take that for each year, and you can see how the price per kilowatt hour on average increased. And that increased 240%. Something I may have put it on the chart. Like 230% increase in the price of gas, and oil can change, a buck during a year.
It fluctuates.
I know. That's what I couldn't really use this chart. I have it still, but it starts at the top. What we got from the database is this stuff, the actual the usage, right? And then I totaled it up on this sheet by year.
And what are those numbers?
These are the totals. This is the total.
What are the units of all those numbers?
Gallons.
This is gallons.
Gallons in oil, yeah. So 30,449 gallons used in 2010. And 16,000 and 20. What do I got? Cost and use, right? Yeah, that's the bottom, 2010. So there's if by this number there'd be $100,000 used. I didn't actually continue the dollars thing. So the dollars come down in oil. This is all just oil. So this is each year, 2010, 2011, 12, 13, right through 20. So what it does is gives us it started off by giving me an approximate value if this was the cost per gallons. And I was modeling that to see if I could get a reasonable number out of it. The problem is that if when you take the what I did generally is took the values that were downloaded in gallons or kilowatts and totaled them up to decide and we did this for both natural gas and for electricity, because those are utility billed items, and we have the dollars and quantities used. So you start at MEI, and you can get the whole chart for the year, for the month, year, quarter, or month. That you can the data will print out in that kind of summary. So I printed out an annual summary, which gives you a summary of usage and cost month by month for every entity. The streetlights, for example, are in the highway department. So it's buried in there. but, yeah, but you can break it out. So what I ended up with was a bunch of, charts. Now, just stay breaking the street lights out, for example. I had what they give you out of, in the chart, from the, MEI is the, usage in million BTUs. You can get kilowatts, but billion BTUs, you turn that
Yes,
turn that
kilowatt.
into into, a number.
Now, why would that change very much?
It doesn't, per year, what we used in BTUs, it's what we use in wattage and BTU. When the
Seems to go
wattage changes, the
down.
amount changes.
When what changes?
Well, for every year, you use so many, million BTUs.
Yeah,
You
the
can,
number seems to be going down from 2017 to the present.
Yep.
It's the same street
This is
light.
just streetlights, right? And you can see where we did it, because here's the 80.
Oh, that's right, because they were replaced. Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, so
Here's the slope.
I'll
put
this
that
was
in a
probably
graph.
in the middle of this year, and then now it is pretty constant. I see.
Yes.
So the new lights versus the old lights were up through 17 and 18, and then sometime during 19 we switched.
So overall,
Got it.
when I take the total dollars we spent, and divide by the BTUs, the dollars per kilowatt hour, I guess is what we had ended up to, the cost per kilowatt hour is what you end up with. It's 14 cents, was it 14, went down 13 up to 15, and it gone up to 39.
So okay, as the price is going up and the electric rates
Up to
going up.
52. Yeah.
Right.
Not 52. Where is it? 26, 24. So you take the amount we use each year and subtract the amount that we use next year to get the change. The next change, the change. And then I multiplied the change by the value per kilowatt hour to come up with what the value of the change was. So that's the total values. I think someone from the utility sent us a note and said it was about $17,000, and that's what I come up with.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
I
So-
mean, okay, I think I have to look at these numbers a little bit just to make sure I understand.
I'll give it to you.
I think I know what you're doing. I mean, wouldn't another way to look at it simply be you can quantify how much we've saved in kilowatt hours, and then just multiply that by the price. I mean, I don't know whether you'd want to use the cost of that year or the cost
What
that
the-
currently is, or maybe the cost of the year.
Depending on where you are in MEI, it'll give you the kilowatt hours as a result, or it'll give you the BTUs. Either way, it's amazing how I check them all the time. I say, that can't. Oh, Jesus, it is right. I check myself against it. So, but MEI does have some quirks. You'd prefer to see kilowatt hours here and not have to turn it into BTU, turn it into kilowatt hours.
Right.
I think what they publish is million BTU, which I converted to kilowatt hours because I have a dollar value per kilowatt hour. The whole system, when I take all the usage of electricity that we had for the year and divide by the total kilowatt hours, that's the value that I end up with. So that's how I established the value of cost per kilowatt hour for each year. So you take the difference in cost and the difference in usage and accumulate them, and you end up with $16,000 saved, and we would have spent 51 instead of 35 if we hadn't done it. Now that's something I'm trying to put it in a graph.
Why are there any savings like from 2016 to 2017?
I don't know. The value of first of all, we hadn't done the lights then. Probably hadn't done them yet.
So you're calling this a base? Isn't the baseline earlier though?
This is the base, yep.
Isn't it earlier than 2016?
Well, the base for purposes of the streetlights is gonna have to be 2016, because I did not record them separately prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
There's zeros, usage $0
Oh,
before that.
Okay.
So when they started to record it, that's a good point. This is the only one we had to do that with.
But we didn't do anything in 2017 particularly, so
No,
for some reason.
that's
it was
the
less.
beginning of the data, not the beginning of the activity.
Yeah,
The activity was someplace in here.
right.
You can see that kilowatt hours you go down. I don't know what this was, but this was definitely our work. And
My guess is some way halfway through the year is when
Yeah,
we
yeah,
put in the new
probably
light.
good, yeah. But I think that's real.
Yeah,
You know, that's just the street lights. Never mind there's what, 110 street lights? There must be, I don't know how many hundreds of street lights there are in each school. Not street lights,
yeah,
street lights.
parking lots.
Inside, in the hall. Yeah, I'm gonna try to put that in a graph and so you can see the drop in, and then with a dollar value. Hopefully that'll be something that we can display in the master plan. Okay, so this is what it looks like, the data that you download from MEI. I could share this, but if you download the data, it looks like this. And they present it alphabetically, and they give use and then cost, use and cost, use and cost, for each one. And you can't add them up that way. You can't add columns or anything. You have to sort them by use and cost and then go back.
Yeah.
These are all no value input. Don't know why. Maybe this is just the schools. But for our purposes, the only ones that we needed to record were the Hawthorne Brook and Spalding. So I brought those over to a separate sheet. I'll close this file. Oh, just before I go to the separate sheet, this is the town. Same thing. So each line is for the highway department, they've got diesel use and cost, electric use and cost. When you sort it, when I selected the year, I selected fiscal years, so it would sort of match up with whatever they have on the books here. And then for the highway department, diesel, electric, gas.
I see. So cost is zero, that's where, because it's not tracked or whatever.
The library, they actually put in zeros.
Yeah,
I didn't tamper with this. These
like...
zeros were already here.
Yeah.
When I went to the next step, I actually put a zero value in here. So I have both, but that's what it is, no value. So and they don't add anything up. This is all just numbers straight from the.
So you're really spending, making an effort on this. You're trying to see if we can, we already know that we've saved a certain amount in terms of energy usage, but we don't know what it is in cost. So
that's right. And I think citizens won't be that improved if we tell them, we say, oh, look, we saved, 100,000 kilowatts per year.
Right.
That doesn't mean anything.
Or the percentage is nice. Like we were talking about 70%.
Yeah, a percentage would be nice. But you can't get that unless you accumulate the years of savings. And it's going to be different every year because the new cost is going to be applied to the saved units each year. And when you there's the savings increase over the year, the value per kilowatt hour did you say? So we're supposed 10,000 kilowatt hours the first year, and it's always the same. Like the streetlights, your savings are gonna show up from then on, but it accumulates.
You mean because the price is going up, so.
Yeah, the price is going up.
But, right, and then does this, calculation that you're trying to do, let's see, is it, yeah, it has to take into account the increase in price. We may be spending more money because of higher prices, but we're spending less than we would have.
How do you show it?
Well,
If the cost per unit, which is what happened with, you'll show you in a second, happened with natural gas. We know we reduced our usage. I separated natural gas from the oil, and then I combined them to see what the combined would be, because you didn't heat the building without oil.
one way or another.
You know, one way or another, the BTU. And there also seemed to be, I guess forgot to mention, there's also an error, perhaps. It's a striking thing, the base year. Let me talk about that when the time comes, instead of now. I've taken, this database was, basically, I ended up trying to figure out, you know, if I put in what I considered to be the list price for the gas and oil. The list price, you know, residential oil and it's from that source, that government source. These values all come from that government source, and I tried to model them to see if, you know, it would work, and it did. I put into for value, that being the list price, I was going to put in for this sheet, it's figured at 5% discount on the truck delivery and a 12% discount on the tank delivery. That's made up numbers. I have no idea. But when you make a change to this, it changes the whole, you know, changes all the other numbers.
Right. If you want any suggestions on, you know, if you share the spreadsheet with me or send me a copy of it.
Yeah.
You know, I can look at it.
What I'm trying to do
It's hard for me to do this
what I'm
on the
trying
spot,
to do is
but-
help you understand how the spreadsheets are constructed, so that when you look at it, you won't have to, you know, re-figure that.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I will send you a copy.
Yeah.
So that was just the oil one, and I ended up giving up on it. Because it's just whatever these values are is going to affect, you know, these period values. That's supposedly the savings, but you know, I don't know. It depends on what you care for.
Yeah, there's one thing I'm just trying to make sure, and maybe, you know, I'd have to be really getting into the numbers to even formulate the question, but I just want to make sure I understand. So let's just take something let's take out the complication of not knowing the actual amount spent. Like, let's take natural gas, either natural gas or electricity, which are things we have money, dollar values and usage, right? So if, let's say, let's take electricity. We're talking about, if we know we've saved this many kilowatt hours relative to the baseline. So the baseline is 2010 or thereabouts.
Supposed to be.
So every year, 2011, 2012, 2013, for each of those years, we could, this data tells us how much we saved by our energy conservation efforts.
That's what we're trying to get. Because there's behaviors, weather,
right,
all kinds of things.
I mean, it's
we can't account for that.
Theoretically, some adjustment for weather, like I don't know how accurate it is, but it does take into account that if this year was colder, it makes an adjustment, or does it not do that?
This doesn't. This is just what we use straight.
It's just straight
now, there
numbers.
is a weather adjusted estimate of not usage, because that's what we use. Weather adjusted estimate of your savings emissions.
Right.
To do the emissions one, they just figured out the BTUs that you've used of everything, gasoline, even, you know, that's why they have the electric in BTUs, because BTUs are used as the master is a common
So
fuel
all kinds of energy.
statement, right?
Yeah.
So this is the energy this is the BTUs that you put out. And the BTUs for each entity, you know, the gas and diesel would have a higher emissions level than natural gas. So they'd be all calculated to, these are your emissions based on the amount of, that you've used. And for each year, they've made a weather adjustment. It's kind of a complicated, it can be done by hand, but it's a kind of a complicated, you know, set of stuff. And that's what they give you. I haven't tried to calculate the thermal, you know, the emissions side of it.
Okay, so we're left with that aside. So theoretically, each year, our usage of energy should be less than the base year, but it might be messed up by weather. We'll have to
It could
put
be
that
messed up by
aside.
weather, people's interactions with the system. I thought COVID would reduce the electric usage. It did not. I don't know why. It's a puzzle to me. If you didn't have kids in school, why are you still, you know, burning the same amount of electricity? I could not comprehend that unless, you know, maybe the teachers went in there and, you know, taught from the school, or maybe there were some students. I don't know. But you get down to we're talking about it without looking at it. Let's look at this. So what I've got from I had to reshuffle things around, but from the download. But this is basically the stuff that I got from the download, right? This is what you get from the download. And this stuff over here, and anything that's colored, I've added. I've inserted so that I could do calculations and stuff. So you can see from the coloring that there's filters in here too. This is actually much wider than that, but we'll not go to all of it. All right, so first one was diesel. Back to, oh, let me put it. Set that up like that. Set this up like this. Okay, good. There. HI, that's the whole thing. All right, so just for the diesel, you total up the usage. That's just a formula, subtotal. And we did it kind of, I did it as a dynamic thing, so that this total, if you wanted to say, okay, let's take out the water department. Select all. Let's just try to do the water department instead of everything on. Oh, we get a void value at the end. This is just all of the water department stuff. If you just wanted to focus on something. Select all, okay. Say we wanted to do everything but the water department. What does that do? Water department. So we're gonna see everything except the water department. The water department is there. That would probably reduce it by 500. Yeah. So company. Now you've got a new total without the water company. So, and that's all the way across. No water company. So you can get a look at, I did that mostly so that we could separate the schools, get the schools and the, no, I didn't even do that. Select all. That's just, and I couldn't get any values on the diesel. But all right, so next was gasoline, same thing. If you wanted to take out the police department, you know, you could, or just focus on some group rather than the rest. The next one is electric. This is the most fascinating one. In this line, it's calculation, because we made it colored.
Mm-hmm.
This is the sum of all this.
Mm-hmm.
There it is right there, 181, 25. And if you wanted to look at that, you get down to the end here. This is the fascinating one. All right, so $174,000 savings, cumulative cumulative savings. That's with the filter on. So I'm going to select all. It's more than that. $319,000 in electric savings.
Mm-hmm.
The way this is done, I put the labels over here. So just the column labels, sum of all electric use, all facilities. That's the sum of the use from here to here.
Okay, so
Change in use versus base year. So there's this minus the base year. I named that cell base year equals this.
oh, of course it's 0. Okay,
This
so it went up.
minus this equals this.
Mm-hmm.
This minus this equals this.
Yeah.
Right down the line.
Okay, so most years, it looks like 2011 is an exception. We were lower than the base year. We're not really, we don't know if it's because of weather or whatever, but just looking at the pure numbers, each of those years we have a savings. You're going to have some estimate of, in dollars, how much a kilowatt hour is worth that year.
Okay, no.
And
So here you go. Here it is here. This is the value. What we've done is we've taken J47, which is the sum of electric value dollars that we spent,
Mm-hmm.
and you're dividing it
By the kilowatt hour.
by the J59, which is the usage, and there's a number you get.
Now you know how much you spent per kilowatt hour. It may have fluctuated over the year or whatever, but that's an average.
That's an average.
Yeah.
So we call it an average.
So given that average, and we know we saved so many kilowatt hours, therefore we saved.
Right, and so
Okay,
so
that
the
makes sense.
same routine as before.
And for each year you do that.
You take this year, this amount minus this amount equals that amount. This amount minus, it's this amount. This amount minus that amount equals that.
Or actually, what you're doing is you're adding this and this, I think.
You're not really, you're adding basically.
You're adding a negative number.
But you're going to show the change
Right.
separately.
Right.
So this is the change from here.
Mm-hmm. So this is the cumulative change. The one
Yep,
just
we're
above it is
accumulating.
just
Yep.
the change for that
This
year.
is the change for the
Mhm.
period.
Mm-hmm.
This is a change for the year. And this reads all the way across the same. You just copied that formula across
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to, this is the 2024 value, which I've just copied there.
Now, I think if you simply summed this row above, you should get the same number or not? I think so.
You would.
You would, yeah.
Yeah, let's try. There it is, 319, 368,
Mm-hmm.
right down here.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's okay.
So that's electricity. That was the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Natural gas was a bitch. Because I done the same way, right? There's some issues here. All right, Hawthorne Brook and Spalding. Look at the use of gas. This is the use of gas in
That's weird.
2011, and this is how much we got in 2010. It is possible because we had a lot of oil. We use less oil and more here, right?
Hmm.
I took the thermal value of this oil and turned it into BTUs.
Hmm.
And I turned that into therms because with natural gas, because I have the total value that we spent in the year and the total amount that we use, I was able to determine the cost per therm.
Yeah.
The cost per therm is where did I put that? Oh, yeah, no, I didn't have that down there. The value per therm. Gonna be where? Right there. Oh. Here it is, right there. That's a value for natural gas. That is this number divided by this number.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And same each time, so that the cost stayed very close, but actually went down a little bit here. And up, down, up, down, up, 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 all the way up to 137, most recently. But it goes up and down. You know, you got years where it went down and it went up. Okay, so when you take all of that together, this $1.37 divided by the 60 cents, whatever it is, it's what is it? Yeah, 59 cents.
Hmm.
Went up.
Double, roughly. Or more.
Oh, actually double. Yeah. That so overall, you know, when you take the accumulated supposedly savings, the value change is almost $1 million.
Hmm.
That's the changing value is almost $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
That is not accounting for oil.
Hmm.
Now, in terms of heat. All right, so there's the oil. What I did here is different. Most cases, I put the calculations of value and stuff underneath the thing. Where oil is concerned, I instead of putting it underneath, putting all this stuff underneath oil, I put it above oil so I could connect it to gas because they are connected. They're both for heat.
Yeah.
And I got one explanation line in here that says oil input accounted for by converting oil usage to therms like natural gas and applying the known period value of natural gas to those therms.
Mm-hmm.
And what I wrote. So that explains to you what's going on here. You've got use of gas, use of oil, convert it to BTUs, convert the BTUs to therms, calc the value based on the gas BTU value per therm, and sum of oil therms, combination value of both the therms and both the oil. Now this is where I've combined them both to oil and gas.
Mm-hmm.
This is the therms of the combined oil and gas.
So is that what's the
And
trend
this is
on
the
that?
value of that combination. You take the total here, and multiply it by this, 88 by 96, right? Correct, and then, that gets copied all the way over. Hopefully I did the same thing all the way over, yeah.
So it looks like our our energy usage for heat went up. Is that at least for some years?
It did, but, you certainly, that, we had involved, oil, and oil is 138,500 BTUs per gallon. A therm is 100,000 BTU. So there was ultimately a savings in, if you, that method got me a $16,000 savings. I gotta feel it's like 5 times that, but it's
I mean, it's kind of a drop in the bucket, compared to electricity, what we say.
because the electricity is, I think, real savings. The oil, it's hard to
A lot of
determine,
assumptions went into.
hard to determine, and I don't have enough control of the variables.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I mean, I only vaguely get what you did, but, I'm not sure about that thing with the, converting to therms and assuming the cost per therm would be, so the cost per therm or whatever units you wanted, wouldn't be the same for oil and gas. There's no reason to think it would be the same.
Well, you could perhaps use an interpretation that says, oil is 38.5% more efficient, more capacity per gallon than a unit of BTU. But I think we've already accommodated that, by the, there are, by the way, I've seen online values for oil as low as 132,000. It's only 6, but it's every little piece adds up. If I used 132,000 instead of 138,500, I know because one of the things that's missing that you've accommodated because we're measuring inputs, we're not measuring outputs, is that, oil, when you burn it, it is only like 80% efficient.
Right.
But the same can be said of gas. I mean, I don't know whether they had a high efficiency boiler or not. Probably not. They replaced them with high efficiency boilers, but not back in the day. And so I don't know if you can make an adjustment based on that. I decided at some point that I had to settle for measuring and rating inputs. That's the information that I have, inputs. Now, if you spread out like 2010 over a few years, that reduces the base year, right? I don't want to do that. So I had, if you reduce the BTUs per gallon of oil, you will also reduce it.
Right.
So
no, I just, I mean, again, if I'd be happy to see if I can.
Well, I'm going to give you the base data that I haven't. But what I did, I had to separately download town and schools, and they looked the same. They were set up the same the way I did. So I would paste the schools onto the town. So it's just a continuous list, both schools and town, and they're identified by the label. These labels were provided by them. And you can, mess with it, but I'll also give you this, because an awful lot of work is done here that you wouldn't have to repeat if you understood, the way this is working.
Yeah, but as far as estimating the dollar savings associated with oil, I would think coming up with some sort of average price of oil in a given year, there must be data on that. Would be at least a reasonable estimate.
I tried. There is data for the retail price. I told you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't believe that, the retail price, I figured maybe a 5% discount from the retail price for Townsend, because they know they're gonna get paid, it's not a big deal, it's on a regular schedule, sort of thing. It's not a pain in the ass to deal with the town. It isn't, you pay, and you have to deal with the individual homeowner who may not pay you or whatever, you know, so I figured town would probably get a discount of some kind off of retail.
Yeah.
Don't know, but probably. Then the, oil side, when you go into tanks, oh, you deliver 10 houses worth of, 20 houses worth of oil with one stop. One setup, gotta be worth something, 12%, 20%, I don't know, gotta be worth something.
Yeah.
I did come up with, in this number that I came up with here, there is no discount allowed. I just used the value of, the values of, the natural gas to replace the therms with natural gas rather than oil. It might be a calculation. You do, the relationship of the units. 100,000 BTUs of oil would be less than a gallon. So it'd be that portion of a gallon cost that you could associate with that, right? But maybe that's it, that oil, has a very high value per gallon, but of BTUs per gallon, but it's a, something you can keep thinking about. And,
Yeah, the other
all right,
thing
so let's
is,
get to the other part of this.
yeah,
But we only have, I don't know what time it is.
8.
All right, so I'll send you, where we end this is I explain those things to you as best I can in this time. And, I'll send you this file and the data file before it was messed with. You can figure out your own. This, we wanna get to now.
Oh, the master plan edits.
Yeah, I took a look at the goals. And
Oh, yeah, I
see
actually, yeah,
what you did is, kind of relocate and combine and, simplify.
exactly.
And I don't have any problem with any of it. I
Yeah.
can tell you that I have seen, and I've only seen once, and it was 6 months ago, that the state was gonna go to 33% instead of 30% here. I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can double check if there's been any update.
Mhm.
What the goals
Okay,
are. So
regarding-
more ambitious goal.
This is the heavier section of it.
Yeah, let me, so do I still have that open? Yeah, I think there were only like 4 pages where I made. Now, what I sent you, I haven't changed any of the words, but I made it a little more easy to see what I did because I had put it in terms of comments. See, now I've got it. You can actually print it. So by the way, I have a printed copy. I don't know if there's any
I
reason.
think
We
some of
just,
the comments I did write in as an adaption.
yeah, once,
You're
so I
you're not
made,
at the beginning here. You're up at the page, what?
page 3. This is page 3. So this was more editorial. I wasn't intending to change the meaning of it.
I made a copy of page 3.
If you want, I actually did I had to go through the frustration of using this crappy Canon printer that I have at home.
Well, I bought a new printer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did what you suggested. I got one of those that, has a big tank.
Oh, yeah. You gotta go with that. So I complain about the Canon printer.
This is the only page I don't have
Oh,
with me.
oh,
I have all
right,
the
okay,
others.
so this is the goals we treated. Yeah, I might have forgotten to tell you, I might have forgotten that I had made an edit on that page.
All right, page 32, 3, page 3. I don't even have a page 3, so, all right.
Yeah, I just felt like the way it's worded now is it just kind of throws in or it kind of everything having to do with the environment. We're gonna address climate change and air, water, noise, light, and all environmental pollution.
That's good. I got it. I got it. That sounds great.
Yeah. I guess I still say all those things, but I put it a little different.
All right, so these are good.
Yeah, so after page 3, I think the next thing was like 52 or something, page 30.
32, you just,
Oh.
should change the title.
Right, right. That was minor, but.
Yep, minor, but there. And the rest of this happens over back here. Climate mitigation goals, 52.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the deletion. You've taken it. I think she had to fill in a lot of fluff there, so.
Yeah.
I think you did the right thing filling it up.
Yeah.
More substantive stuff.
And then you can't really see my comments, but that's in when you read it on, in the PDF file. There were just comments like, this isn't necessary or whatever,
Yep. So that one, you sent to goals.
Right. I would say the goals would go right here at the beginning of this section. And then, I left in some of the things about the community college having wind turbines. That's interesting, I guess.
I think this paragraph I think you wanted your plan was to delete it, right? And it's not going anywhere else?
Energy committee. Yeah, I just felt like, well, because it's saying we're in the planning stages of an energy master plan. Well, instead of that, I'm putting in the energy master plan.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe we want to leave in some reference to our committee.
I don't. I think it's the next paragraph that I thought may make sense.
The one on energy efficient lights, or?
That we replace the lights, yeah.
Oh, well, I put in something instead. I just changed it to better language, I thought.
Oh, you
You may
replaced it.
not,
That's not on this one. So
well, it was in a comment.
Okay,
Like, that's why it's better this way.
I didn't write it.
Yeah. So that's what how I propose to say it.
Yeah. Okay, good. It's replaced. All right then.
And I can send this updated.
Yeah, I'd like the update.
And then here, I don't know if you saw that I made this change, just adaptation and mitigation regulations.
I did see that. I did get that one. And this is the same page, but I made my notes on the next one.
Mhm.
All right, so and mitigation.
Oh, right. So you had them.
I had written some stuff in
I
here.
think you're showing what I had an insertion kind of.
Down below here, this town should take. Did you make a change to that? Yeah, you did.
Yeah. It's actually here. So it would be another bullet. So the bullet would just be this one sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Then another bullet, which would be renewable energy. Really just editorial.
I'd like to see that one all together, yeah. And, yeah, I don't think there's no problems with anything.
So this is doing what? Where we can communicate this with what was it, Julie? Jessica.
And Salvo. You may be upstairs right now.
And she is I always forget what, the land use coordinator.
Yeah,
Who works with planning.
and as far as I know, the grant administrator works for her.
Uh-huh.
And why the grant administrator isn't involved here, I don't know.
Is there a grant administrator?
Yeah, right. I have, we've covered this, you're gonna send me a copy and stuff, I'm gonna send you a copy, then, all right, and next thing on our agenda is the, topics not expected by the chair. All right. Um, where am I going? I'm going here. I received a notice regarding a grant, grant stuff, and you know, it's just there's a lot to it. It's like you decide who to send it to, and I believe it's a grant administrator's job.
But do you know, I thought we didn't have a grant this year, do it as a.
Well, they keep trying, and in 1 minute I get told there isn't one, and then the next minute I see there's one being paid. So you know, I I don't know what to say with that one. I'm looking for the email that I got. Was it, maybe it was a text? All right, so I'm not gonna take any more time. I'm gonna work on that follow up. Maybe it is further down. This is all today? I'm trying to find a text, email or text that I received, email. Green Communities Grant Program. Can't find it. I got a notice from the Green Communities Program that, you know, there's a new program getting started. And, you know, you need to organize and all this stuff. And it's beyond me, it's beyond this committee.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably beyond Townsend. We're not organized to take advantage of this stuff. That's really a big point right now. You know, the grant, RISE didn't finish the last job. If a grant administrator had been on that, maybe we would have the job finished. Do you know what happened with that?
I'm not sure I do.
Well, when they did this retrofit thing, retro
Oh, the
commissioning study.
Yeah.
And
the
they
library.
apparently made recommendations, although I don't think I've seen them, recommendations. Yeah, they did. I've seen the whole thing. They made recommendations, and one of the recommendations was that we insulate this, you know, one of these cooling systems, like we did in the schools. And it wasn't done. So Frank sends me an email and says, his first one said, I think the utilities may have a problem with not working late, you know, with this not being done. They won't let you close out this item, this grant. And I'm like, what? So I sent him an email. It says, do you mean we can't finish in time? He says, he comes back and says, because this is done, you will be able to go on. Yeah, we won't be able to finish because it'll take, he sent me the contract, which was dated 2023. Dated 2023. It's like they knew this had, I don't know what the date means. If that was dated in 2023 and sent off to us to sign, where was it all this time? You know, and that's an administrative issue.
So what had to be done?
That one thing.
I thought the study had to be done, but you're saying
the study found that there was a recommendation
that had to be implemented.
That had to be implemented before they could close out that grant.
How would that be implemented? Like, where would the money to do that come from? Unless it was trivial, like, you know.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, this is stuff that a grant administrator would have argued. I'm not a grant administrator.
Right.
I have a limit as to the amount of. I'm barely up to doing this as it is.
Yeah.
You know, so I just don't want to be into this every day.
Yeah.
If this is an everyday thing, that's a job. You know, not a
not a.
I don't know. I'm not connected well enough to town hall you know, Kathy would, seems to me she knew more about what goes on at town hall than I did. So I was kind of relying on her and Brent for years to know who to contact or whatever. But I think the amount of opportunity has swollen to a degree that we're gonna lose if we don't, you know, jump on it. Because a lot of the stuff is done for you. You're looking around saying, well, there's nobody to do that. Well, the grant provides the $10,000 to bring the guy in to do this, you know, like, and all you gotta do is open the door, you know, or make some decisions along the way. But we're not in position to take advantage of those things. And Teresa's been sick. She hasn't been, she's got
Oh, really?
a medical thing. She hasn't. She, you know, I sent her, so when I sent her a copy, she says, I'm not in the office, I'm, you know, have a medical issue.
Oh,
And so that's what I've been getting from her. So we're not supported.
I guess let's do the best we can. You know?
Well, what's wrong with that our work saved $300,000? At least,
Yeah.
more like double that. But
Yeah, I was actually gonna bring up, this is a lot of work, and then who's gonna see this, and what do we wanna do with that information? At least communicate with
well, I
the
think,
Board of Selectmen, and they're the ones who
I
appointed us,
think,
right?
I think, for purposes of the master plan, what I had in mind was coming up with some sort of a graph, two of them, one that shows, you know, the lights, because it's simple to understand. You change the bulbs and this is what happens. You save, you know, $16,000 over a few years. And we've been doing this all over town with all the buildings. So, you come up with a graph, make it simple. Say savings, lights, $16,000, here's the graph, you know, here's previous lights, new lights, you know, it's simple, understand, it'd be a graph that you can put into the master plan, color, you know, whatever. And the overall savings, it gets a little trickier because we've got all these freaking interpretations and, you know, going on.
I mean, ultimately, if we could come up with a reasonable way to make an estimate, you know, it may be that the oil, I'm just guessing here, but the oil is probably a relatively small piece of it. So, you know, if our assumptions are somewhat inaccurate, it may not make much difference, but if we make a, you know, a credible effort to estimate it, and we explain it somewhere with some footnotes, you know.
That's what I tried to do, and
you know, we can come up with an overall number.
where we can, it's, you know, come up with a reasonable, I haven't done it yet. I haven't come up with a reasonable, you know, explanation, and we come up with a huge loss anyway, because the price of gas went up. Even if we had used the same, the price would have gone up, right?
Right.
A lot. But if we hadn't done anything, the price would have gone up. Whoop. You know, it's just,
Well, in a way, the increasing price
we're still
makes the
further-
savings more valuable, right?
Well, maybe come up with an idea. Another fresh eyes on it will, you know, be helpful.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the last thing that I had. It was under not previously, you know, available. That, you know, we're seeing opportunities that I think we're understaffed as a town, not just
Right.
as a committee to deal with.
Yeah, right now, we've got two active members, right? Of this
Two
committee.
active members, right? And we don't even have a liaison to the board.
Right, so I guess we do the best we can.
Yeah, she's gonna report to the board that, you know, as far as I know, they had a meeting, you know. All right, and with our next scheduled, we have reserved the board chambers for October 16th for our next meeting. Would you consider that date?
Yeah, I might have an issue with that, just we're thinking of going away and we haven't decided when yet, and it could very well be that week. So
If you decide that, let me know as
I'll
soon as you
just let you
can,
know.
and we'll reserve. I think the board chambers works out better for us because we can, you know, use the, you know, thing. But with only two of us, we don't really need that.
Yeah, you know, if it has to be this room, that's fine.
So yes, I'm gonna go with that for now.
Yeah.
And if you let me know, we'll change the date.
Yeah.
And the time is currently 8:16. We have a motion to adjourn. You're motioning.
All right, motion we adjourn.
Second, favor.
Yes, I.
We are adjourned.